The room sparkled with candlelight, a soft glow that should have felt warm but didn't. I stood in my navy velvet dress, a glass of wine in my hand, trying to smile like I belonged. For once I wanted to feel whole, to stand in my childhood home without shrinking. It was my sister Lauren's engagement party, a glittering affair in our family's Portland, Oregon estate. I'd been away for 3 years, building a life as a graphic designer, finding friends who didn't know the weight of the Harper name. But the invitation had arrived, handwritten, insistent. Family only. Come home, Elise. So I came hoping things had changed. I was wrong. My mother's eyes swept over me as I entered, her smile tight. That's bold, she said, glancing at my dress, my loose curls, my red lipstick. My father, standing by the fireplace, gave a curt nod, his gaze already on Lauren, radiant in white silk, the room's undisputed queen. You're late, he muttered, not looking at me. Lauren, my older sister, flashed a smile that didn't reach her eyes. You dressed up for me, she said, her voice syrupy but sharp. It's your night, I replied, keeping my tone light. Her gaze lingered on my hair, my dress, like they were a personal affront. I should have left then. The prickle on my neck told me to run, but I stayed, chasing a ghost of family I'd never had. I mingled, smiled at aunts and cousins, nodded at their "you've changed" comments. Each one felt like a judgment, not a compliment. Lauren worked the room like a star, her fiancé, a tech heir at her side. Every laugh, every toast centered on her. I didn't mind. I just wanted to exist without apology. Then it happened. My mother grabbed my arm, her nails digging in. You're drawing attention, she hissed, pulling me toward the dining room. Lauren followed, her heels clicking. She's showing off again, she said, her voice low but venomous. I tried to pull away. I'm just here for you, I said, but my father appeared, his face hard. You never learn, Elise, he said. The room was empty, the party's hum muffled behind closed doors. My mother's grip tightened. You think you can outshine her? On her night. I blinked, stunned. I'm not trying to, Lauren cut me off. You always do this. Always make it about you. Before I could respond, she grabbed a pair of scissors from a side table, the kind used for gift ribbons. My stomach dropped. What are you doing? I asked, stepping back. My father blocked the door. You need to be reminded, he said, his voice cold. You don't get to steal her light. I froze as Lauren lunged, her hand snatching my curls. The scissors flashed and a chunk of hair hit the floor, dark and heavy like a piece of my soul. I screamed, twisting away, but my father grabbed my shoulders, pinning me against the wall. Stop fighting, he growled. Snip, snip. The sound was deafening, each cut a violation. My mother stood back, arms crossed, her face a mask of disapproval. You brought this on yourself, she said. I begged, please stop. But Lauren kept going, her laughter sharp, mocking. Let's see how pretty you are now, she said. My hair fell in clumps, years of growth severed in seconds. A cousin opened the door, gasped and froze. Get out, my mother snapped, and he did, shutting the door behind him. The betrayal stung worse than the scissors. When they finished, I was shaking, surrounded by my own hair. Go clean up, my mother said. You look pathetic. I stumbled out, the party's laughter echoing like a taunt. I made it to the bathroom, locked the door, and sank to the floor, clutching strands of what was left. I didn't look in the mirror. I couldn't. My hands trembled, not with fear but with rage. This wasn't just about hair. It was about control, about erasing me. And I was done. I stayed there for 15 minutes, my breath ragged, my mind racing. Then my phone buzzed. A video from a cousin I barely knew, captioned, "This is messed up." 12 seconds of Lauren cutting, my father holding me, my mother watching. My scream, their laughter. I saved it, my heart pounding. This wasn't their story anymore. It was mine. I left without a word, slipping out a side door, the party's glow fading behind me. My keys dug into my palm as I walked to my car, each step heavier, carrying every time they'd made me feel small. At home I didn't cry. I screamed into the dark, not for them but for me. The girl who'd tried to be enough was gone. The one left was fire. The next morning I opened my laptop, saved the video in 4 places, and called a lawyer. Her name was Kate Voss, a specialist in assault and defamation. I've seen this before, she said, watching the video. You have a case. I exhaled, not because I was afraid but because someone finally saw me. I wasn't going back. I was going forward. The story's getting more and more interesting, isn't it? Don't miss out on what happens next. Hit that subscribe button right now. The video was 12 seconds of my unraveling, a jagged record of my family's cruelty frozen on my laptop screen. Lauren's scissors slicing through my curls, my father's hands pinning my shoulders, my mother's cold voice. You brought this on yourself. I saved it in 5 places: cloud, external drives, and email titled proof. Each click a promise to myself. I wasn't the girl who shrank anymore. I was done swallowing their poison. I sat in my Portland apartment, the city's rain tapping the windows like a heartbeat. My hair, what was left of it, hung in uneven strands, a brutal reminder of Lauren's engagement party. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Text from my mother's assistant, voicemails from Lauren, even one from my father. Come home, Elise. We need to talk. I didn't listen. I didn't reply. Their words were traps and I was no longer prey. I called Kate Voss again, my lawyer, her voice steady through the phone. We need a plan, she said. The video's strong, but we need more. Your story, witnesses, context. I nodded, though she couldn't see me, and started writing. Every moment I could remember. The party, the scissors, the cousin who saw and walked away. But also the years before. Lauren's smirks when I got a scholarship, my mother's sighs when I spoke, my father's silence when I needed him. I typed until my fingers ached, each word a cut I was taking back. Kate suggested meeting Aunt Nora, my mother's estranged sister, who'd left the Harper family years ago. She knows things, Kate said, her tone careful. Things they don't want out. I drove to Nora's small house in Beaverton, a cozy place smelling of sage and coffee, its walls lined with art prints and books. She opened the door, her gray eyes sharp but warm, and didn't flinch at my hacked-off hair. You're here, she said, stepping aside. I've been waiting. We sat at her kitchen table, a wooden slab scarred with years of use. I showed her the video, my hands shaking. She watched, her jaw tight, then slid a box across the table labeled Harper Secrets. I've kept these since I walked away, she said. Inside were documents, bank records, emails, a letter from my mother to a lawyer about controlling Elise's influence. My breath caught. What is this? I asked. Proof they've been hiding things, Nora said. Your mother's been siphoning money from the family trust, tying it to Lauren's future. Your father's been buying silence, staff, friends, even me once. She pointed to an email from 10 years ago, my mother threatening Nora if she spoke about the incident. What incident? Asked my voice low. Nora's eyes darkened. Your mother didn't just control you. She controlled everyone. When I challenged her, she cut me out, called me unstable, froze my accounts. But I kept digging. The box held more. A photo of me as a baby held by a woman I didn't recognize, her smile soft, her eyes mine. Who's this? I asked, my heart pounding. Your Aunt Lila, Nora said. Your mother's cousin. She left before you were born. She knew something about your parents, something they buried. The revelation was a half-open door, letting in light but not enough to see clearly. I wanted to ask more, but my phone buzzed again. A text from Lauren. You're making a mistake. Meet us tomorrow. We'll fix this. The words dripped with her usual sweetness, but I saw the threat. I showed Nora. She shook her head. They're scared, she said. Go. See what they want. It'll show you who they are. The meeting was set for a law office downtown, a glass box overlooking the Willamette River. I arrived early, my journal and the video backed up on a USB in my bag. Lauren walked in first, her engagement ring glinting, her eyes avoiding mine. Then my mother in a tailored blazer, her assistant carrying a folder. My father was last, his face hard, no trace of the man who'd pinned me down. Elise, my mother said, her voice smooth as ice. This has gone far enough. You cut my hair off, I said, my voice steady despite the rage in my chest. In front of everyone. Lauren shifted. You were showing off. It was a joke that got out of hand. A joke. I laughed, sharp and bitter. You held scissors. Dad held me down. My mother cut in. You've always been dramatic. Sign this and we'll fund your little art career for 5 years. Her assistant slid the folder across the table. A non-disclosure agreement, a check for $75,000. And if I don't? I asked. My father leaned forward. You'll lose everything. Your job, your name, your place. I stared at him, the man who'd never defended me. I never had a place, I said. Lauren's voice was soft, pleading. Elise, don't do this. We're family. I turned to her, the sister who'd smiled while cutting me apart. You don't know what family is, I said, standing. I left the folder untouched, the glass doors closing behind me with a soft thud. The river air hit my face, cool and sharp like a promise of something new. Back at Nora's, I didn't need to explain. She saw my face and nodded. They offered you a cage, she said. I nodded. And threatened to take everything if I don't climb in. She handed me a sealed envelope from the box, its edges yellowed. This was Lila's, she said. She left it for you. My hands trembled as I held it, unopened. What's in it? I asked. The truth, Nora said, her voice fierce. But you need to decide what you're fighting for. I plugged the USB into her laptop. Files loaded. Audio of my mother bribing a family friend to stay quiet, bank transfers hiding trust funds, a letter from Lila hinting at a secret about my birth. My heart raced. This wasn't just about the party. It was about a lifetime of erasure. The envelope from Aunt Lila burned in my hands, its faded ink a lifeline to a truth I'd never known. Nora's laptop cast a dim glow in her sage-scented living room, the USB drive's files laid bare. Audio of my mother, Grace, the woman I'd thought was my mother, bribing a family friend to stay silent. Bank transfers siphoning trust funds to secure Lauren's future. A letter from Lila, my mother's cousin, hinting at a secret about my birth. Your mother didn't want you to know, Nora said, her gray eyes steady. But Lila did. I tore open the letter, my hands trembling. Lila's words spilled across the page like a confession. Elise, you were never theirs to break. I'm your mother, not Grace. I gave you up to keep you safe from their control. You were born from love, not their lies. My breath caught, the room tilting. Lila wasn't my aunt, she was my mother. Grace had raised me as her own, not out of love but to secure the Harper family trust. Robert, my father, knew I wasn't his but kept the lie to hold the money. Lila had fled, silenced by threats, her story buried until now. I sat back, the letter pressed to my chest, tears stinging my eyes. Not tears of pain but of clarity. I wasn't the Harper's mistake. I was Lila's daughter, hidden to protect me. The files filled in the gaps. Emails between Grace and a lawyer, plotting to erase Lila's claim. A medical record from my birth showing Lila's name, not Grace's. Each document was a root, grounding me in a truth they tried to sever. We can end this, Nora said, her voice fierce. The video, these files, your story, it's enough to burn their world down. My heart pounded, a drumbeat of rage and resolve. The Harpers were Portland's untouchables, real estate tycoons, charity darlings, their name etched in the city's skyline. The video from Lauren's engagement party, her scissors slicing my curls, Robert's hands pinning me, Grace's cold "you brought this on yourself," was undeniable proof. But doubt lingered like a shadow. Could I face their retaliation? And Lauren, who'd laughed while tearing me apart, could I ever see her as a sister again? The Harper Foundation Gala was tomorrow, their annual parade of power. It was the moment to strike. Nora contacted Mia Chin, a journalist with the Portland Pulse, known for exposing corruption. We met in a diner, rain streaking the windows, the air heavy with coffee and grease. Mia's dark eyes scanned the video, Lila's letter, the financial records. This is dynamite, she said, her pen tapping the table. But the Harpers have lawyers, influence, money. You ready for the backlash? I remembered the dining room, Lauren's smirk, Robert's grip, the cousin who saw and walked away. I'm ready, I said, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest. We planned the release for 8 p.m. during the gala, when Robert would be center stage toasting his legacy. I wrote my story, pouring out the party's violence but also the years before. The dinners where Grace dismissed my sketches as childish, the birthdays where Lauren got roses and I got silence, the nights I hid in my room afraid to shine. I wrote about the girl who'd tried to be enough, only to be told she was too much. Each word was a brick, building a foundation no one could shake. Nora and Mia cross-checked the files, linking bank transfers to trust records, verifying Lila's medical report. We backed everything up on a secure server, a fortress of truth. The night before the gala, I sat in Nora's kitchen, the letter in my lap. Why didn't Lila come back for me? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Nora's face softened. She wanted to. But Grace threatened to ruin her. Her art, her name, everything. Lila left to protect you, hoping you'd find your way. I traced Lila's handwriting, her words a lifeline across decades. I wasn't ready to forgive her absence, but I understood her sacrifice. That night, I dreamed of a woman with my eyes, painting in a sunlit studio, her laughter warm. I woke with tears on my pillow, not for loss but for love I'd never known I had. Gala night, I stood outside the hotel, its glass walls reflecting Portland's twinkling skyline. Daniel held my hand, his warmth steadying me. Nora stood beside us, her presence a quiet strength. Inside, Robert's voice boomed about legacy, family, progress. Grace and Lauren stood nearby, their dresses glittering, their smiles practiced. At 8:01 p.m. phones buzzed. The headline hit. Harper family faces assault, fraud allegations. My story, the video, Lila's letter, the financial records. Live on the Pulse's site. Guests whispered, glasses clinked down, a donor slipped out. Robert's speech faltered, his hand clutching the podium. Grace's eyes found me through the glass, her face draining of color. He stammered about misinformation, but the video played on screens, my scream cutting through the murmurs. Lauren turned away, her hands trembling, her engagement ring catching the light. I didn't stay to watch their collapse. With Daniel and Nora, I walked into the rain, the city air sharp and alive. My heart burned, not with fear but with fire. I wasn't their shadow anymore. I was rewriting my name. By morning, #HarperExposed trended on X. Donors pulled funding, the city launched an investigation, and the Harper Foundation board demanded resignations. Grace texted, "You've destroyed everything." I didn't reply. Lauren's voicemail was softer. "I didn't know about Lila. I'm sorry, Elise." I listened twice, her voice cracking, but deleted it. Forgiveness wasn't mine to give, not yet. Daniel and I moved into a loft in southeast Portland, its brick walls and high windows a canvas for a new life. I painted the walls ochre, hung Lila's letter beside a sketch of her I'd drawn from Nora's stories. A woman with my eyes, painting in sunlight. Nora visited, bringing tales of Lila's defiance, her love for color and freedom. "You're her daughter," she said, her voice soft. "She'd be proud." I started teaching art at a youth center, guiding kids to draw their truths. A quiet girl asked, "How do you keep going when they break you?" I said, "You find the pieces they didn't touch and build from there." A package arrived, no return address. Grace's handwriting, "You'll always be nothing." I burned it in the sink, watching the ashes curl like my old fears. I wasn't fighting for their validation. I was living for mine. 2 weeks later, I sat in a salon under warm lights, the air smelling of lavender and wax. The stylist, a woman named Maya, ran her fingers through my uneven hair. "Let's make this yours," she said, her voice kind. She didn't ask what happened, didn't try to fix their damage. She shaped what remained, each snip a reclamation. When she turned me to the mirror, I saw someone new, not perfect but powerful. The haircut was short, uneven, mine. That evening, on our balcony, Portland's lights flickered below. I opened my journal, its first entry, "The night they cut me apart." On a blank page I wrote, "The night I became Lila's daughter." I closed it, not to bury the past but to step forward. The city hummed, alive with possibility. I wasn't the Harper's weed. I was Elise, born of love, forged in fire, and that was enough. Hey everyone. Thanks for tuning into the Revenge Tempest channel. If you love this story, please hit that subscribe button and join our amazing community. Drop a comment below letting us know where you watched us from. Your support keeps us going. Stay tuned for more epic tales.